Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hi, it's Jackie Cation. Welcome to the Dork Forest. It's the intro. This is where the credits and our monthly sponsor is mentioned. He's a good egg. It's Car D'Angelo over at Earth 2 Comics is sponsoring the Dork Forest this month. Earth 2 Comics is in Sherman Oaks. It's also in Northridge, California. And if you go into either one of those stores and you mention that you are a ranger of the Dork Forest, you will get 10% off your purchases. Very exciting. I love Earth 2. Very, very supportive staff. They can help you find stuff. If you don't know what to get, you can sort of describe the kind of things that you like to read. And I don't know, if you go to the Sherman Oaks one, they might even tell you what Maya and Andy's pull list is. And then you can know more than you need to know about what kind of comic books to get. But Earth 2, super friendly staff, and they have everything. And if they don't have something in one store, they will send away to the other store and hook you up. And I recommend that you all go there, and I recommend that you mention the Dork Forest, because then you get 10% off. There's the ad. In other news, JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, TheDorkForest.com, AllThingsComedy.com is the podcast network that the Dork Forest is on, and there's a lot of great podcasts over there. If you're looking for more pods, there you go. My stand-up and live Dork Forests are on JackieCation.com. There's a chance to buy merch. There's a chance to go to the Amazon banner and buy whatever you want from Amazon, and I get a kickback. The Dork Forest gets a kickback. And other than that, there's t-shirts and CDs and the calendar. Oh, and the donation button, of course. Everyone should give me $100 a year. Do what you can. If you have to give it to me in $4 increments, you're going to have to do the math, because I don't know how to set that up. I've asked Mark Maron. He's told me twice. I still haven't done it. Anyway, let's get into the show. It's a good one. Hey, it's Jackie Cation. I'm back in my living room with Keith Malley. Keith
Hello.
Malley. Keith and the girl. I just talked to the girl, Chemda.
How'd she do?
She did great.
Okay.
It was amazing. We talked about food, and we bonded on a moment, on a level where Essence spoke directly to Essence, and all was understood.
She knows a lot about food.
She does. She likes it, and I'm a fan of it. Most people are.
She's
right?
a great cook. She tries to tell me how simple it is to cook, and I say, if it's so simple, that'll be your job.
That'll be you. You knock yourself out right there. And then we picked some cherry tomatoes for about 15 minutes. And
Your place is so nice.
it's nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks. It's super fun. You live in New York as well, clearly.
New York City, yep.
Do you, which borough do you live in?
Queens,
You
Astoria.
live in Queens as well. All right. We were just talking. I said the first time I was in Queens, I had an Italian ice.
They're good, right?
It sounds like I was there in the 30s. But what happened is I believe it to be the late 80s, early 90s. So I think it was 88.
They
89.
advertise they always have the orange one. They never have the orange one.
The orange ice?
Yeah.
And they're always sold out?
They just never, I don't know if there is such a thing.
An orange Italian ice?
Yeah, but it's in the picture.
It's always the picture.
You got to
It's
go
nice.
cherry or rainbow.
You went with an orange soda.
Orange is it. Orange is where it's at.
Now, did you grow up in Queens? Where'd you grow up?
No, I don't know why it took me time to think about it. I grew up in Somerset, Pennsylvania, close to Pittsburgh, but the absolute country.
Okay, yeah, out in the middle of the woods.
If I go back to visit my family or something like that, I get reverse claustrophobia. I really don't appreciate like I should. My parents have so many acres, and we had a homemade swing set, and I'll sit on that, and it's relaxing for about 3-4 minutes, and then I just don't get it. Where are people running into me with an attitude?
Right.
Good morning. It's like, well, what does that mean? Why are we starting with an attitude?
Right.
today?
Why you gotta attack me? And I was like, no, nothing's happening. It's all an illusion.
Right.
An illusion.
And then moved to New York in '96, I remember. And I didn't know what I was going to do necessarily. I just knew you had your exciting towns, New York City or L.A.
Right.
And I think
And New York's a lot closer.
It's closer, and I think I saw one movie more that was about New York
Right.
than L.A. So I went, all right, I'll go to New York. And then...
Have you always lived in Queens?
No, I lived in a hostel. I sold things I owned.
Right. Sure.
For like $3,000. Came here, lived in a hostel. I remember trying to find work, which I didn't have set up. I didn't have a place set up. In the hostel, there was a sign saying, looking for live-in daycare workers. And I'm like, all right, so it's a job and I live in your house.
Right.
So I show up for that. I took child development in school.
Sure.
And the first question was, when you're wiping a girl's bottom, Do you wipe front to back or back to front?
Wow.
Yeah, and you would think that would be an easy one. But I'm like, all right.
I only know from experience, being a lady.
Thank you. Okay.
With a bottom.
But I'm thinking, well, let's see. I wipe front to back, so if you're asking me,
Yeah.
then it's got to be the opposite. So I go, back to front. And I get this look where I know I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh? What was the question? He goes, no, you would always do front to back, otherwise the feces will get in the vagina. And I'm just like, well, if we're going to be gross.
Right. Wow.
And then I went, yeah, front to back because of vaginas.
Right.
And she knew I was full of it, and that was it.
Front to back because of vaginas.
Right.
Why isn't your album called Front to Back because of vaginas?
Because I tried to keep it clean.
That's right. It's called Keith Malley, Good Clean Fun. And KeithAndTheGirl.com is your podcast, and it's on iTunes and all that stuff. And she said you do stand-up once a year?
Once a year, I do one stand-up show.
What do you do? What the hell?
Then the rest of the year, we do the show.
You shovel sand for a living? What do you do for a living?
We do the podcast.
For a living?
Yeah, that's our job. We've been doing it 8 years. It's our only job.
I've been doing mine 7. I have other jobs.
Do you?
I'll be over here.
But but also like, I mean, we quit our jobs to do it. We put everything into it. We're working about 12-hour days.
Right. You're working. It's not. Yeah, it's a good 60, 70-hour a week job that you've been doing since 2005. So,
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's neat. Okay. Well, good for you. So then you do, and she said you so for 10 years you've been doing one CD a year.
So I whenever I first came to New York, every weekend I would do stand up for a year, and then I Kimda got me to record a show. She's a great producer, and so I did that, and I'm like, all right, I love doing this, but I don't have the passion for it,
right? Like
regular stand ups do, but I like the challenge, and so once a year I would do it.
It's essentially a challenge to do. Is it what is it, like 40 or 50 minutes? Is it a full hour?
It's an hour, yeah.
It's an hour. And so what it is it's more just spoken word, and it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not offended if a comedian doesn't want to call me a stand-up. I don't care. But yeah, it's a...
No, but you stand up and you...
It's a stand-up album, yeah.
Yeah, and that's fun. No, yeah, I do not mean to... I did not mean to offend. But, because it's so interesting, because in Europe, they do a new hour every year, right? All the comics do. Okay. All the stand-up comics. In England, there's this big thing where you have to do a new hour every year, and you go to Edinburgh and you perform at these festivals, and it's always a new hour. And Jackie Cation, huge fan of working on the same material for at least 18 months. And then.
But that's fine though. Like you see the comics that are repeated from 10 years ago, whether it went over then or not.
Right. That's where, to be able to let go of something is very, very important, I think. But to also be willing to work on stuff is important to me as well.
Right.
So, but I think it's fascinating.
I guess also
I think it is a challenge.
Like if I wasn't recording it, maybe then I'd want to keep repeating it.
Right.
Because the recorder's like, it's here, you can have it.
It's fine. It's as tight as it needs to be for right now. And next year, if you wanted to do it again, you would. Or you could, right?
I could do whatever I want.
You can do whatever you want. Turns out there's no locks on the doors. You got it.
But I probably won't. Like I could see
because you change.
I
over
could see
a
like
year too.
Right, and I can see expanding. Like I remember when I first did stand up, I didn't think the Holocaust was real, and I'm older now, and obviously that's ridiculous. I could have just done some research. So yes, that opinion would change. But you just look at the date I wrote it, and it makes more sense. But if I took
1934,
one track. Like maybe I have more thoughts on it, or I can expand it. But then at the same time, you wouldn't have gotten the different track that you got. So it is what it is. I only doing one show and recording it on this new one. I stumble over a word a little bit, where I know it would have been better if I didn't. If I did what every other comic does, if they're recording something, they do 2-3 shows. Mix it together.
Right.
I'm like, that's the beauty of it.
That is the beauty of it. So. That's nice. And that's exciting. Now your dorkdom. A lot of people. There was a lot of people telling me what your dorkdoms were. But let's hear what you think. What do you like to dork out about? What do you like to talk about? If you meet somebody and you're like, this is awesome.
Well, everybody's into music. Nobody says they don't like music, so that it comes up. Hair metal is my thing.
Has that been from the beginning of your childhood?
Well, childhood. My dad was a Catholic priest, and we were very.
Your dad was a Catholic priest,
and then got married and got permission supposedly to get married from the Vatican.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Did he marry a nun?
No.
Okay.
Regular woman. She, of course, was very religious too.
Right.
They met each other.
So you went to Catholic school, church as a child?
Yes.
And so he was not excommunicated or anything. He was allowed to continue.
He had to get I mean, you're not a priest anymore.
Right.
But,
no longer.
You could still go to the church.
Right, because I'm Armenian, and there are two different kinds of priests. There's married priests and unmarried priests.
Okay.
But only unmarried priests can become the Armenian Pope, which is called the Catholicos in the Holy City of Etchmiadzin.
Is there something to letting them get married? Are they fucking kids over there?
No, they're okay. I mean, if they're
on to something.
Most of the. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice if you're allowed to get married, then you're allowed to have sex.
Yeah.
And then the unmarried priests, probably there's some molestation going on, but it's mostly, I think they just have sex with women. They just are like, yeah, I'm probably going to stay celibate, but if it doesn't happen, I'm going to sleep with that woman is what's going to, I mean, it just seems to be, it's all in Armenian, which helps me because then I can believe whatever I want.
Right.
But to my knowledge, it seems pretty mellow. It's like, be like the nice guy in the picture and then go get somebody a cup of coffee.
Right.
There seems to be a lot of step and fetch it is what I'm saying. Anyway.
I don't know how, how much the religion aspect goes to this, but I think it's related. But anyway, we weren't really listening to music growing up.
Because it was kind of strictly.
I didn't know the original MTV people,
No cable.
Absolutely no cable. You're not watching a horror movie like when.
Right. No violence, no sex.
So I'm sure I was at least 18 when I'm really able, probably on my own, and I'm able to look into music and have an opinion about
Let's look into this music thing.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
And what really grabbed me was hair metal. Poison, Warrant, Kiss, I really got into. Motley Crue.
So this is the early 90s? Or
like 92.
Because those bands, I think, are earlier, right? Those bands are from the 80s, aren't they?
Late 80s.
Okay.
But yeah, and then I'd go back by those albums.
Right. Okay. What was the first one?
The first
really
album I ever
you?
got was Nelson and Slippery When Wet.
What? No.
Nelson,
the name's the band is Nelson.
Is Nelson After the Rain with the real long hair?
No.
Twins.
No.
Or they seem like twins. And Bon Jovi's Slippery When Wet.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no. The first tape was the first thing I got. It was ZZ Top's Afterburner. That one I understand.
Those are the guys with the beards and the other guy. And it is cooler to say.
Right.
But the thing is what are you going to do?
Right.
And the first album I ever bought, I think, was Andy Gibb. There's no getting past that. I can't change. I'm not a revisionist historian. What am I, Kissinger? And so it's yeah. So,
but I look
Nelson.
Now you look back and you see that, and they were okay, and I'm not really into them. I just liked whatever hits were the.
There were a couple of hits on that album.
CD. Yeah, After the Rain. I forget what the other.
Okay, nice.
2 or 3 were. And very nice.
Okay,
and then I'd look into these bands, and I just really I got into the music. It wouldn't really matter what they look like, but to me, your Motley Crues, your Poisons, I didn't realize these are women I'm looking at. You know what I mean?
No.
They're putting on eyeliner. They're putting on lipstick,
they're kind of like,
and I'm like, that's just cool.
Oh, right.
Cool.
They're
They
guys
always had the same pose, the pierced lips. They all loved the 2 arms out and their palms touching, maybe making
like
the
Joan
gun
Rivers
symbol.
or making the gun symbol, gun symbol than Joan Rivers.
Yes,
okay,
yeah,
got it.
yeah.
Okay, it's
and
that's
I just
awesome.
look at. I think what's weird to me about it is people they love that music too, and once in a while maybe they'll go, oh, Rock Ages, I'm into that or something like that, and hear them redo the songs. It's weird to me that these bands were number one. These albums were number one. Poison's third album, what is it? It's not coming.
It could be in the notes.
Was huge. On Skinny Bob, Something to Believe in. Then what happens all of a sudden? And I guess you could do it with, and I know grunge came up, Nirvana.
Right.
What happens that no one cares about this music anymore? Like, why am I'm not defending myself,
alone?
but why am I dorky?
Right.
For still being into it. We loved it. You got the tattoo.
Right.
You came out to the shows. They weren't cheap. We were kids.
Right, you owned it, man.
Right, and then another album comes out from Poison. It's like a style, and you go, no one's into Poison anymore. It's
Okay.
like how aren't you? If you're
not
into
be
Beyonce, right, real big, and then the next album isn't going to sell at all because we moved on to Miley Cyrus. Like, if you loved it, how won't you still love it? Now
So
I know
do you
it's
have-
not Barney,
Right.
and years went by and you're older. It's the next year, and how
Right.
come nobody's not into it? Like, if the music's too simple, how come the next generation isn't like? It's almost like you're taught what to like. Maybe.
Right. Well, for sure. But I do know some people that are still really into Motley Crue and Poison and all that stuff. Rat, I believe, was a band. With two T's.
Rat was a band. They weren't my favorite, but yeah, they're up there.
Right.
They're
so
good.
Do you own like most of Motley Crue's albums?
All of Motley Crue's albums.
All of Motley Crue's
All of Motley
albums.
Crue, all of Kiss.
Who is in Motley Crue? Who are the band? Are there 4 band members?
There are 4 band members.
Seriously, when it's almost a drinking game when the Dork Forest goes into music.
You have Vince Neil.
Vince Neil, lead singer.
He's the lead singer.
Okay.
To me, it's
what do
like,
they play?
It's like you're asking who did the Star Spangled Banner.
Sure. Francis Scott Key.
So he's the singer. Mm-hmm. You have Mick Mars. He's on guitar. He has a bone disease. He doesn't move so fast.
Okay.
He's very good. But of course, he was there in the beginning, so they keep him around. Tommy Lee. He's the one with the big hog. You may have heard about
a
sex
motorcycle
tape with Dick. Penis.
A large penis.
Yes.
All
I
right.
didn't want to be so crass.
So a hog.
He is a big hog.
Welcome to Philadelphia. Welcome to Pittsburgh.
Sex tapes you might know him from.
No.
Some fake reality shows on VH1.
Okay. That guy gets work.
And then you have Nikki Sixx, which I understand this is almost silly to say, but Nikki Sixx, I think, is the brains behind the band, and he does all the music and that kind of thing.
He writes the songs?
Yeah, and he has his own band now. It's called 6 a.m. with 2 X's, and I think it's so good. And I'm 39 years old. I know I'm supposed to be over this music. It is so good.
It's 6 a.m.
Yeah.
All right. That's awesome.
And
is it just because when I hear it, like I love Bon Jovi.
Right.
I loved Wanted, Dead or Alive,
right.
And I used to have a poster in my
even like
dorm room.
Have a Nice Day.
Oh yeah, in Kiss I always liked Beth.
Yeah,
I was more of a because
he can't come home to Beth. He can't come home to Beth. He's got to play with the boys all night.
Well, that's it. He's he wants to, but he thinks that he's going to be called a pussy or something.
Right.
So that's going to happen. And but yeah, I never like it's that hard driving guitar stuff. I like it, but it's a definite mood kind of music. You know,
right.
Like what does it do for you?
It makes me want to kill. I just love it.
Does it diffuse the killing?
And even the ballads,
Right.
I love. They're called
White
power
Snake.
ballads, so that they don't sound pussy. The White Snake is, you put on the best of White Snake, it's all good. Here I go again.
Here I
on my
go
own
again.
is still good.
Is one of the greatest songs in the world, quite honestly.
I mean, you can make fun of Tawny Katane because she's batshit and she did all those videos dancing on the car, but I think the music's still great. I know Vince Neil. They had a fight in the band, and he left Motley Crue, and they did a self-titled album called Motley Crue with a new lead singer. I think that's excellent.
Okay. Because
Extreme, I'm getting into, and they're so good. And they had More Than Words and something else. And to me, those are the first songs I heard, so I never paid attention to them. I thought those were too pussy. Mm-hmm. But they're very heavy, and you wouldn't know it from the songs that were a hit. I wonder if they don't like that those songs were a hit. But they are so good. And then he went and he left them and did Van Halen.
Okay, wait, Vince?
Gary Cherone, the guy from, sorry, I know I'm jumping around, the guy from Extreme.
Okay, Extreme is a band that has 2 hits that were not as
More Than Words and something else.
Right. And they just weren't as awesome as the rest of their stuff. The rest of their stuff is great.
Yes.
Okay, the lead singer of that went and played with Van Halen.
Became the lead singer of Van Halen. Because they couldn't get along.
Was it Sammy Hagar?
Blew. Sammy Hagar was the singer at the time.
Okay.
Before that, of course, David Lee Roth.
Right.
And it is funny now you're an adult and you look back, you're like, oh, yeah, I had to pretend that you were straight. David Lee Roth, Paul Stanley from Kiss,
Are all those guys gay?
They gotta be. Maybe you heard it here first, but
maybe. Oh, I've definitely heard it here first, and because it turns out people's sexuality, I almost never care unless they're trying to have sex with me, and then I'm like, it's not gonna.
It's not good. Maybe when we do Keith and the Girl, and we're interviewing somebody, and maybe halfway through, I'll have to throw out some kind of question and figure out if they're gay, and it's not that it bothered me, of course, if they were gay or not. It's just. I have this feeling in my head, and I got to see if it matches. Am I insane?
Right.
Or did I get clues
Did I get a vab
gay?
that you might be gay, or you might be too straight,
right?
Or you might be asexual? What is happening?
Right.
Are you a slug? Do you reproduce just by yourself?
Are you trying? My problem is, I go, are you trying to trick me? You implied you went on a date with a woman. Are you tricking me?
Are you sure? Are you sure it was a woman?
But I think it's funny that the lead singer to Extreme played for Van Halen, then that blows, and then he comes back and goes, "Okay, Extreme, I'm back." And they want to have an attitude, but they can't. Okay,
right, because he's the lead singer,
right,
and he's their front man.
Right.
So the front man, they do a lot of. I mean, they're called hair bands because they always grow their hair out,
right,
and they have a lot of It's more David Bowie kind of stuff, right? Or it's sort of inspired from that.
Well, even like people wouldn't put Metallica in that album, but when it comes to in that genre, but when it comes to that, I would, and when it comes to that style and look, I would, and people got upset when Metallica cut their hair.
Right.
And you're like, what? What?
They're 40.
You're supposed to be the badasses.
Right. But I mean, the thing is their
kids are pulling on their hair now. They got to cut it.
Right. There's a point where you're like, it's just receding now, and it just looks weird, and I got to drive around. There's a lot of work, a lot of hair care products that have to happen if you want to be that guy. Right? Don't you think?
We had the ozone problem because of hair metal. I get it.
Right. That's what caused
Global warming is
caused because of the aerosol cans that hair metal brought into this world.
I say it's worth it.
So Metallica, wait, not Metallica. We were talking, I think it was Motley Crue.
Motley Crue, okay.
What's the hit of Motley Crue? That I would know.
Dr. Feelgood. You know Dr. Feel. He's the one that called Dr. Feelgood. He's the one that makes feel all right.
Nope. God
really?
Dang it. How could I not? It doesn't make any sense to me that I don't know the song.
Home.
Okay.
You know I'm a dreamer. I'm
so sorry to make you sing.
Run away high so I wouldn't come home low. You don't know that one?
Nope.
All right.
All
well, it's
right.
very nice meeting you. I like it.
Nice work. Well played. I like the commitment.
Thank you.
I like that.
I'm really outside right now.
Yeah, I know. It makes me want to make a Pandora channel. So if I made a Pandora channel, I could start with Motley Crue, Bon Jovi, and
all these would come up. Yeah.
Extreme
would come up.
And are Extreme still? Are most of them still working?
You know what? Here's the thing too. They are still working. Mm-hmm. If I made my top 10 list, you'd have Metallica, which people wouldn't think is crazy. Of course, you'd have the Beatles, you'd have Led Zeppelin, these kinds of things. In my top 10, without exaggeration, I would have Tesla. I think these guys are so good.
Nikola Tesla?
Based on Nikola
Tesla.
That's where they took the name.
Right.
Yeah. And
are they new?
No.
Okay.
You are funny. No.
Okay. Well, that's the thing about the Dork Forest is what I don't know about people's dorkdoms fills buildings. So, what years were the Tesla peoples?
They're still going on, and they started probably late 80s.
All right.
And Hang Tough. They had some things that it's silly. Then people stop. Time goes. The people are still buying the albums, but it's a little silly looking back. Then they stop. People stop listening to them. And now they're still making albums. Warrant was, Janie Lane died, the singer of Warrant, but he was still making albums. Poison was still making albums. And to me, and I'm an adult, these are so good. And nobody's listening to them just because times have changed.
Right, because that sort of, because it feels like, is it speed metal? Is it sort
no,
of, it isn't. That's something else.
Speed metal would be too fast for me.
Okay.
Metallica's the hardest I can get.
Okay, yeah. And Metallica, the reason that some people wouldn't put them with Motley Crue is because they don't do the makeup and
they don't do the makeup, but they still have the look. Leathers is still a look, and
there's some leather pants happening.
But their lyrics are a little more serious than partying all night and sleeping all day.
Oh, right. Which is that a theme?
We do love to do that.
To party all night and then sleep all day. That sounds good. It sounds like
a fun time.
Right. Who doesn't want to party all night and then sleep?
Take your favorite chick. You go out, you party all night, and you're a kid. Like you're 16, 18, and you're like this. You're like, yeah, I'll take my favorite chick out. You don't have a chick. You don't have a motorcycle.
Right. And what I did like about some of the lyrics on those things is that they weren't super graphic. Right?
Right.
They were more, I'm going to take my chick and we're going to go party all night. Yeah. And then that is exactly as far as the limits of your imagination will take you.
Because some people, when they make great poetry like that, they
nice.
want you to imagine what that means in your head and not ruin it for you. Like, to me, maybe it just means we're going to grab a slice, me and my favorite chick.
That's it.
To somebody else, it means we're going to coke up all night.
Right, and then we're going to find somebody to anally do something with.
Right.
So that's something else.
To anally reduce something with.
Reduce something. You want to reduce something with somebody? That's between you and your God. And so I mean, it was a sort of, it's a kind of a gentler rock, I mean, it feels like like when people got super mad at Elvis because he was shaking his hips.
Right.
And it feels almost adorable in how kind of naive it feels. They're just like, no, it's Footloose, man. We're going to go out. We're going to get a 6-pack for the 9 of us. And we're going to all drink these beers and just hang out in the hayseed.
People that were condemning like Elvis or, Beatles even, they're older now. Do they go like, ooh, we got that wrong?
We got that way wrong. See,
how about the guys wearing lipstick? And then now it's like, too late. You already said Elvis.
Too late.
Should have waited until guys wore lipstick.
You called it, and you get Elvis as the thing that you hate and think that is the sign of the devil. Because in '89 I was listening to, I think I was listening to hip hop, and like KRS-One and Public Enemy and all that stuff. But per year, the Jackie Cation will buy 3 albums. Maximum, maybe 1. And this year I bought the Constellations, I think. So
is that a band?
That's a band. That's a band from Atlanta. They did it's a guitar rock hip hop mashup.
Okay.
And so it's good stuff. Anyway, but
I would get the Kiss has, I don't even know what, 34 albums.
Yeah.
I get every one, even the solo ones, even the...
Yeah, well, there was a time when I was really into Billy Joel. Okay. And you as a man who lives in New York probably can't stand Billy Joel, because even when I'm in New York, I'm like, too much Billy Joel. Why is it constantly playing?
Right. I didn't get into... Right, it's on the subways.
It's on the it's in the air.
Right.
It's you're walking through the park and you go by the Imagine Circle and they're playing Billy Joel anyway. So there's no reason.
There's a like I was at a Tesla concert not long ago. I was at a Malley Crew concert not long ago, and I guess it's for any concert. But there's you ever notice like there's such a camaraderie. Like we go in there and there's just strangers nodding at each other. Like we still get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody knows this new album.
Is awesome.
From Tesla is so good.
What's it called?
There's Into the Now.
Into the Now is a great one.
And again, the one that's not coming to me. Something Forever is the one right before it. But the last 2 Tesla albums are so good. They're so good. And what's good too about being in these bands is when you go to the concert, it's not the biggest concert in the world.
Right. Because now,
you can yell
but
up
that's the
to
good
the band and. There's a singer yelling back at you specifically.
Well, right, and I mean,
thanks for buying the album.
right. You're like, hey, you talked to me on Twitter, and I mean, and it's fine because because it isn't as huge as it was, you don't have to, it isn't a Jay-Z concert. Right. It doesn't cost you $300.
I don't have to watch it on a TV, even if I'm in the studio.
Right.
The stadium, I mean.
Right, because you can go to a bar, and are there like 400 people there?
There's still a nice amount of people.
A couple thousand?
I'm trying to think what used to be Westboro Music Fair. Maybe they would have, picture like a stadium, I know they're all different sizes, but whatever you're thinking of, a stadium in the round.
Yep.
They have to cut it in half.
Okay, so it might be 500 to 700.
It's a nice amount, yeah. That sounds right.
That seems plenty.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what, with stand-up, you're playing 500 to 700 seat theaters. It's kind of perfect because my favorite size is about, 170 to 220.
Right.
Just for intimacy reasons. Yeah. But if I were a bigger name, I would like to max out around 500 or 700, right? Just because you can't. People are watching it on the screen and they might as well just buy a damn movie. And, and plus in a big room like that, I don't know what it's like for music, but when you tell a joke, you got to wait for it to hit the wall.
Right.
And so it kind of fucks up your timing.
Right.
And
I remember I saw Warrant. You know Warrant, right? Cherry Pie,
Oh, Cherry Pie. I do know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But after that, their stuff was even better.
Okay, good.
So I saw them in a street fair, and the drummer goes to throw out the drumstick.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Lands on the ground.
You could hear it because nobody grabbed it. Damn. It's
like, where do you think you're throwing it?
Oh.
There's 5 rows.
There's just 5 of us coming out to see it, but we love you. We love you.
It hits the roller coaster.
Right. All of a sudden, the tilt-a-whirl is broken.
He goes, I remember seeing them, and he goes, Janie Lane, he's, like I said, he's dead now, but people weren't buying his albums. I hope you guys are happy. So
that's what killed him.
He's doing the concert or whatever, and I love him, and he goes, we're going to be over in this hotel, whatever shitty hotel it is. We're in room 567. Come on up, say hi. And I'm there with my guy friend, and I'm like, all right, let's let's go up and say hi. That's crazy. And he goes,
Yeah.
He's talking about chicks, idiot.
Yeah. He's totally talking about chicks. But how crazy is it?
Yeah, just come on up.
Just come on up.
Even if, like, they rent that room out to check out the chicks, and then they send you to the real room next door, it's still a fall from grace.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine. I mean, wow. Because there's comics that I know who get laid. I mean, I don't hang out with a lot of comics who still get laid on the road.
Right.
But just because I have to go back and watch an NCIS marathon, I know how to party, is what I'm saying. I like to
And
get
married,
my chick.
by the way.
And married, yes.
that
Committed monogamous relationship, clearly. And yeah. It's, and what, but yeah, to tell people, you don't even tell people what hotel you're in.
Right.
But I mean, I'm not keeping it a secret. I mean, it wouldn't be that hard to figure out. You know, the club is here. There's 3,
Right.
you know, there's a Marriott, there's a Hilton, and there's a Super 8.
And
Guess
I did
which one
jokes
I'm
on
at.
how lazy I am.
Right. And I talk about NCIS a great deal. So I think we can establish that you're probably in La Quinta. And so, I mean, it's not, but that's so funny. So Warrant, do you have all of Warrant's?
Yeah, of course. There's, so you have Dirty, Rotten, Filthy, Stinking Rich.
That's a band? Oh, no, that's the album. You are adorable. I'm adorable that I don't know this stuff.
You're like, fuck it, I'm going for it.
But just imagine.
I'm going to guess another band.
Just another, because it's a good name for a band, is what I'm saying. That would have been a good name for a band.
That's their first album, then Cherry Pie, their second album, then Dog Eat Dog, and that's where it starts getting great. Belly to Belly, Volume 1. There's no Volume 2. He's dead. And I believe there's another one. But
Like, if I were to get one Warrant album, like, I mean, just think about, this is the great thing for you here in this moment,
Right.
is that you think to yourself, just imagine she's never heard Belly to Belly.
Right.
One day she will hear it and her mind will be blown.
I think you would like Belly to Belly. If somebody's into harder stuff, you would like Dog Eat Dog.
Dog Eat Dog, the first great one, you say. That's when they really hit their stride.
Yeah. Cherry Pie, I have no qualms about that album at all, but it's always when people gave up on them, or just switched, rather. Not even give up. They love the album. But that's when the good stuff's really coming out, and then people just laugh at me. Oh, yeah, sure, I'll see it. Yeah.
And,
I'm like,
all right.
all right.
All right. It's an interesting thing to still enjoy, you know? I mean,
Right.
because you said Kiss has what, 34 albums?
It's up there, yeah.
Yeah. And so how many albums do Warrant have? Because they're still producing, right?
Right. They're
Not quite as prolific, but you know.
right. And Gene Simmons, I mean, he'll sell anything.
Right.
You know.
Well, he's probably got to buy land, right?
know-
And he's got kids or something,
He
right?
needs land for all the merchandise that he's selling. He sells. Have you heard of the Kiss casket? Well, that's what it is. It's a Kiss casket, and you can't just leave a casket around until you die. So it doubles as a beer cooler.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Gutsy stuff, man. But the thing is that's what they're really known for, right?
Yeah.
And they're just like, no, we're in a band.
Right.
This is not just 4 musicians playing. This is 4 men who are living their lives to the fullest. If I want to wear makeup, I'm doing it.
But
if I
do you
want to
think-
sell a beer cooler shaped like a casket that you can be buried in, I'm fucking in it.
Even if their music's not so fantastic and you needed a gimmick, there's got to be a point so many decades later where you're putting on the platform boots and the makeup and thinking, motherfucker, why makeup?
Right.
Why'd we have to do makeup?
Right. And
How about streaks under our eyes? Why didn't we stop there? We had
Right.
to make a full cat.
did they stop? Didn't they stop for a while?
Yeah, but they're back.
They got to be
People
back,
want
right?
it.
Because people, the 13,000 people that are still on board are like, no.
Right. And I saw a Kiss concert, and they had the makeup, but they've switched people out so many times. I mean, there's still Paul Stanley pretending he's straight, and Gene Simmons selling his mother's underwear are always going to be in it. But
Who were the other two that were
keeps
original?
changing. Peter Criss and Ace Frehley, and Peter Criss is dead. Ace,
I remember
probably,
that.
I think from drugs. Ace Frehley is fucked up from drugs,
Okay.
and now they'll have. Everybody's wearing the makeup. They won't say who the new band member is.
Oh,
they
they'll just-
won't say it's the old band member. It's whatever you want to believe. That's the band member.
Do they have
of course,
character
am Gene
names?
Simmons. No, they had the Star Child, the Monster, this kind of thing. The cat.
Yeah.
But no, they won't even give them names. They're just like,
Okay.
here's the guitar solo. Wasn't that great?
Okay.
And it's like and people are so clueless when it comes. Like they're like, I don't know. I'm not this hard on that. This is gonna sound like I am, But I love Kiss. They're my favorite, and they won't even. They'll scream, "Yeah, Ace Frehley!" I'm like, he couldn't even hold a guitar now. you know,
right. His spine
you have
has
no
been
idea,
removed.
and then it's like, okay, if that's what you think, I guess enjoy it.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right. But I opened for Gallagher 2 once.
The second one,
Yeah, because
Congrats.
Gallagher's brother went for many years doing his act. He had franchised doing his brother's act,
Okay.
and it was with his brother's blessing.
Right.
And they both
Oh,
did
it
the
was. There wasn't a fight.
then they had a fight,
Okay.
and then they essentially broke up as brothers.
What's Gallagher 2 breaking, like cantaloupes?
He was doing watermelons. He went to.
That'd be too far for
But he
me.
was doing. They were both doing the watermelon nonsense.
Right.
But they were.
Who had the better swing?
Well, I have to tell you, he was doing Gallagher's old jokes, like his last year of material.
Okay.
And then Gallagher would do his new material, and when we would phase it out, he'd give it to his brother.
Oh, wow.
And I was opening, and it was on the poster. It just said Gallagher in big words,
Yeah.
and then a tiny 2.
Yeah.
And,
And you probably would, like, if you didn't know there was a brother, you would.
No.
I guess it's his second tour.
we're going to
You don't
see
even know
because
who
they
knows.
look almost exactly the same because they are brothers and they are sired by the same humans.
And he never
And
references
he doesn't
his other
no,
brother on
nope,
stage. Right?
Nope. And he's wearing the same weird hat and stupid Waldo shirt.
And do you hear people like in the audience like, "Oh, I love Gallagher." And
love
you just
Gallagher.
want to shake them. Like,
Yeah.
Then why don't you know? Why didn't you look it up that this isn't them?
That's not the same guy.
You love them so fucking much that whenever Rock of Ages came out, it made me sick. And then
What is Rock of Ages?
It's a Broadway show, became a movie that I understand bombed, and it's you go to the they know it's bad, the Broadway show, because they
Okay.
encourage you to pregame. Please drink at home. But you go, they do like a Journey. I don't know how that's in that group, but okay. They do some Journey songs, maybe a Motley Crue song, a Bon Jovi song, Warrant, Heaven Isn't Too Far Away, you might know.
Okay.
But apparently not.
Nope. But I will now. Oh, I will be looking into these songs.
And so people are like, yeah, I love this jam, and I heard it. I'm like, it's neutered, it's not the same. You don't like it. You
Right.
don't love these fucking bands. And if you loved them, what do you know? Tesla's still a group.
Right.
You love them so fucking much.
They're playing in a shitty bar 13 blocks from here. Please go and see them.
The M&Ms that they sell in this theater are more expensive than seeing the band down the street.
That you claim to love.
You love so much.
Here's my question. Where does Styx fit in?
I never got into them. Come Sail Away, all that, like anybody else. But I can't think of his name now.
Like anybody
The
else.
singer from Styx joined Damn Yankees, and that band I like. That,
Okay.
with Ted Nugent and some other folks.
Was that a super group?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, super group.
And it was
Damn.
super. It was super. 2 albums.
Ted Nugent's in it.
Yeah.
You know what I just found out? Jethro Tull, not a guy. Yeah.
Huh.
I got some, there was some
Okay.
flute playing. He was not a flute player. Turns out Jethro Tull, not a flautist in the New York Symphony.
You're catching it.
Yeah.
catching
I
up.
can catch up. I got all of Billy Joel's albums. I like the idea of a hair metal band, and it's interesting.
I got into physical CDs when it wasn't cool anymore. I like the artwork. Now it's seeming less and less practical because I don't
Right.
I don't play the CDs.
Right, you just
so much
MP3 'em,
easier
right?
to just hit play. But yeah, I liked all that. I got into it. I got into buying a cassette and unfolding all 17 parts of the cassette and reading along for the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
And now you just Google the lyrics.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, that'll be fine.
Right.
And but sometimes the artwork is when it went from albums down to CDs, the artwork is a lot less.
Right.
I hear people talk about how it just isn't as detailed, and you couldn't really get the dragon fire that you really wanted to show up. And
Like, I guess we got to put this out.
so now, did it lead to other things? The love of the hair metal? Did it make you want to play Dungeons and Dragons, or make you want to get a motorcycle or a chick? What did it do?
No, it's like...
Was it inspirational? What did it do?
It makes
it's
me
just
think
liberating.
like, I'm going to live this life of partying all the time.
Yeah.
But you don't do anything about it. It's kind of like the way when I was young, I had I was talking to somebody about the government shutdown and, how can people not be into this Obamacare and everybody having health care? And it's because they have a mentality that I think I did when I was a kid, where you think you're going to be a millionaire and you think
Oh, right.
everybody's going to be a millionaire. And everybody can fend for themselves. And
that
then you
is
get
the
older.
great American dream.
Yeah, and then you get older and you realize, sometimes you don't get a fair break.
Or sometimes you don't get a fair break, and sometimes you don't get. I don't know. I'm lecturing, but the thing is it's like when you're a child, you're forced to share, right?
Right.
And when you grow up, you're told that when they try to legislate sharing, it's communism and socialism and this horrible thing. It's like, well, why would you teach a child to share then? Why wouldn't you teach a child to just keep their own shit and punch anybody who wants their stuff? Why? Because, well, that doesn't make good citizens. And you're like, really? You know what makes good citizens? Is people who share, you fuck. And I don't need, like, do you ever read Upton Sinclair's Jungle?
I'm not all about reading.
Okay. And, it was assigned.
Okay.
And, but in the beginning of it, it's about an immigrant who comes to America in Chicago. And he's very strong and he's very healthy and he's very big. And he's like, these lazy asses, these guys, why don't they just work for a living? And so he works and he works and he works and he works, 90 hours a week. There's no safety protocols. There's no union. There's no breaks. There's no anything. Right. And so eventually he gets hurt. He's tired. He gets hurt. He gets sick and he goes back. He finally gets better and he goes back. And now he's the guy who isn't healthy and he has no recourse but to die. It's a very cheerful book written in the 1912s.
This is what Lawrence Uncle Tom's Cabin's about. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. So, but I mean, the thing is, so I'm essentially the guy at the beginning of Upton Sinclair's book, right?
Right.
I don't need help at this time, but I could.
Right.
It could happen to any of us at any time, which is why middle class people and poor people help more than rich people do. They hope that they'll one day be rich, but they know that they could one day be poor.
Right.
So when they see somebody who's poor, they're like, "Oh shit, that could be me. Here's my change."
Yeah, this came from how does the music?
Yeah.
Did it make you go and did it try to influence you go and get a motorcycle?
And what does that make you?
No, I wanted to be in a band because of it. Never picked up an instrument. I wanted chicks. Never bothered talking to them.
Right, that's an initiator.
I wanted to be a millionaire that didn't have a problem with healthcare. I did nothing about it.
Right.
So no, it just makes me get the next album.
It just makes you get the next album. You're just like, nah, this is nice. It's keeping me in stasis. And I liked my 4-minute lecture series about the nature of sharing. Anyway, so yeah.
That's when people listen, when you sneak it in between the candy.
That's it, between the great story about Extreme and Warrant. And because I think that, everybody has something like that, right? Where they put in the song and they're just like, nah, I'm not going to do anything about it, but I'm going to really enjoy this moment.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like, you can also see something, feel good about it, think about, if everybody did this, it would be a better place, and do nothing about it.
Right.
Like for example, I saw, what's the Mel Gibson movie where they beat Jesus to death?
Oh, Temptation?
The Passion of the Christ.
Passion. Temptation, passion, something. Jesus was involved.
Okay. So they're,
Passion of the Christ.
Everybody's watching.
You went and saw
Jesus.
that? Did you go with your folks?
No, I saw it. I had to see it. Everybody's talking about it. I figured I had to see it.
Good for you.
In fact, it's the first track on the first CD I ever did.
Excellent.
But
that you ever did.
But 10 years ago.
Nice.
And but I'm watching it, and everybody's getting beat. And I do remember seeing my parents later. I'm like, man, that beating, that was a little ridiculous, right? And my mom starts going, yeah, what he put up with, and starts bawling. And I'm like, all right, end of that conversation.
Right.
But I do remember I'm watching the movie, and everybody's in there sad, like, oh, look what Jesus goes through for us. And then, I get up when the credits are going, and I walk through somebody's legs, and she goes, excuse you!
Yes. Why couldn't she suffer like Jesus?
Right. That's how she's like, I move out like Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly like Jesus.
Yeah. No, you feel good, you feel better, but it doesn't mean you necessarily do anything about it.
Right, you don't do anything about it. Yeah.
I'd like to be in a band. You ever write a song? No.
No? Do you ever do any poetry or lyrics? No. Well, my whole thing is I want to be a novel writer, but I want to have written a novel. I do not want to write a novel.
Right.
It's
be done with it.
Yeah. I want to be Jackie Cation, novelist. How about that? Why don't I just get some cards printed up, start handing them out?
Jackie, somebody who's writing novels.
Novelist, novel writer. And so your 10 favorite bands have Led Zeppelin and the Beatles in them?
Led Zeppelin. I'd only put one hair metal band. I think it would be Tesla.
Okay.
I understand
You understand their place.
I understand
them.
I understand their place. I understand not what should be better, but what I really do think is better. And I'm not
Right.
going to say Poison's better than the Beatles.
Right.
But some of
What's
them are
a
up
great
there.
Poison album or song?
A great Poison album is Native Tongue. The one after Flesh and Blood was the album I'm trying to think of that was a big hit. And then the next one was Native Tongue, and I think it's so good. And then they came up with another one called Crack a Smile and More. I think that is good too.
Right.
This is what I'm saying. If when you were a kid, and you could be in your early 20s at the time. When you were a kid, if you were into these bands and you just dropped them off because you followed... You goose step to the trend. I guess we're all sad now. I like Nirvana too, but I guess we're all just all sad.
Right.
I'm sorry if the chicks looked hotter
Right.
back in the day. I'm sure we're all over that. So go
If you
now
need to-
and go like, oh, this Poison was my favorite band when I was a kid. What are they doing right now?
What are they doing right now? You don't have fun? Arcade Fire? It's all great.
Yeah.
But what's Poison doing now?
The
What are
albums
they
aren't
putting
60
out?
hours long. There's still time for fun.
Right. Just have it.
My God.
Yes, exactly. Would you ever want to have your own? I can't help but go back to Footloose because I think of a rural kind of farm mentality when I think of hair metal. I think of people
they
just
love
going,
it. They
yeah,
love it.
you
Where
just,
I'm from, they love it.
and I'm a factory town, and they're still playing it. Wait a minute, this just happened.
A lot of it's blue collar too.
Yeah.
The music. It's about, you're working hard, but you're playing harder.
right, yeah.
Your boss is shitting on you.
Right.
That kind of thing.
And so what I'm going to do is I am going to go get a slice with my favorite girl, and and that's partying.
Nothing but a good fucking time.
That's it. Good fucking time. I was just at my high school reunion and I walked past a conversation between two people I went to high school with a million years ago.
Right.
She was a little in the bag, it was a night of adult beverages.
Right.
And so she was talking, Cindy Chubakowski. I went to high school with a lot of Polish people. Cindy Chubakowski, the Polish Chupacabra. Much better looking than Chupacabra. All the photos. And, she was talking.
I don't read.
All right, and then she was talking to Stefan Zagorowicz, and they're sitting at this table, and all I hear is this as I walk by: Foreigner will always be my favorite band. And you're like, I don't know anything about Foreigner. I mean, except for favorite band seems a lot, but I mean, go for it, right?
Right.
That's awesome.
But I guarantee, again, I'm going to sound like a snob, I guarantee she doesn't know. I was never in the Foreigner, but she doesn't know what Foreigner's up to now.
Has she heard? She might. How awesome would it be? I wonder if Foreigner is up to anything right now.
I mean, I don't know, but I
They're
guarantee
jukebox
she
heroes,
doesn't know.
man. They're cold as ice.
Right.
And but those I had to look those up. And but once I heard those songs, I was like, oh no, I've heard those songs.
Right.
Because that's the whole thing about music with me. People are like, do you know this band? And I was like, no. And then they play the song. I was like, oh yeah.
I think you would know these songs. To hear
I think
them.
I would hear I would know those songs.
Even though I did sing them pitch perfect, I think you still would.
Right, with the beat and everything. Thought
I
you
wasn't
would
doing the drums. You would recognize.
Right. So are there new hair metal bands?
See, I don't know. I don't look into new music like I should.
Eventually I think you stop, but it's kind of admirable to follow the old ones to keep.
Yeah, they're making new stuff, and it's taking up my time just fine.
Right.
Yeah.
So
like I know people were into what's that? I believe in a thing called love. I don't know why I corrected myself. I'm
Right.
sure both are wrong. But what's that
Yeah.
band? Anyway, it's like, they called that hair metal, and people were getting into that, and they had a little success for a little bit not too long ago. No, I'm not. I'm like, I don't know, you're making like a joke of it.
Right. Oh, now you're just kind of making fun of it.
Yeah.
And you're not really celebrating the truth of it, which I think is real. I think that it is a real, I mean, there's a real edge to it that it's kind of like the ska thing. I mean, Brandy Posey talking about ska music where you are sitting right now.
Mm-hmm. Small world.
It's a small world. And she was talking about how it just makes you, it's just fun. It makes you want to dance, and it takes you out of the moment and just sort of puts you in just a happy place.
Is No Doubt ska, or would that offend her?
I think that she said that they were edgy.
Okay.
Like they were sort of the mighty, mighty boss tones.
Okay.
Is
I can
ska.
take that.
And then a lot of things with the word ska in it. She said that
it's safe to assume.
Well, the ska bands, she said, they put the word ska in their band title because she said one of the greatest things about ska is that they have no sense of how they know exactly how ridiculous they are.
Right.
Yeah, and they're just like, yeah, whatever. we have a full marching band with us. So we're gonna nerd out and play French horn and a trombone, and we're gonna dance and have a good time.
Some of these bands, they still think who they were. They still, like you had Great White, you had there's a fire in a club because they let off pyrotechnics thinking they were somewhere not in a small club.
Oh, right. That band that died, right? Didn't they?
Well, a lot of people died.
A lot of people died.
I forget how many members died. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but they were a hair metal band.
They were a big deal.
But they were playing in a small, and they were playing in a small venue.
Yeah, and they had the same pyrotechnics. It sounds like.
Oh, dude, that is unfortunate. That is a bad life choice on their part. For more than just themselves. Good Lord. Yeah.
White Lion, they were up there.
Is what they do is they take an animal. Sometimes you take an animal and you put the word white in front of it. And
they were good at that.
Are there political hair bands?
Extreme had a political album, and it was still good. I don't necessarily need a message with my music, and I liked it. Yeah,
sure, all right. And then are there?
It's called. It's one of my favorite albums. I think it's Extreme 3 Sides to Every Story. It's their third album.
Okay.
It's when people were done with them, and it's so good.
Oh, cool! And it's so good.
That's so good.
There will be that. That will be the teaser quote, which is just you going, "I don't understand. This is. I mean." You liked them yesterday. Right. What happened today?
I love them. They're my favorite band. Yeah, did you hear the new album? No.
No.
Like it.
Right.
When I was a kid, I loved Transformers. I loved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right.
I'll go and when that Transformer movie came out, I hated it, but I'm like, I got to see what this. You're not curious,
right?
Because you're an adult now. Fuck you.
Oh my God, I love the idea. I'm just standing it on. Yeah, you're not curious?
There's so much great. You were so into it. You begged your parents for a ride.
Right. You saved up your allowance. Things happened.
But now that you can go to a concert when you want or download an album anytime you want, you're too good for it.
Right. What about the clothes? Did you wear the clothes? Did you try to do the hair?
I wore whatever my mom got me. No.
Oh, no. You were just like...
My hair was a little longer. It would surprise you because I shave my head now, but it was a little longer. It wasn't crazy.
Right,
It's to my shoulders.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. You were...
Everybody makes fun of the mullet. I don't get it. What's wrong with it?
Oh, I got a great mullet joke. Because here's the thing that nobody admits about... Because what you know about a guy with a mullet is that man has anger issues. What you've never known about a guy with a mullet is that he's working on his... That's what the haircut says, right? Because the front of the haircut says, I'll go to work every day.
Right.
The back of the haircut says, I don't want to.
Yeah.
The front of the haircut says, I will help you raise these babies. But the back says, I want to be in a band.
Right.
So he's working on it. That guy he's blue-collar Batman.
It's his personality.
Yeah. That's that guy, he isn't a child molester. He isn't a rapist. Right. That guy is just looking for someone he is allowed to beat the shit out of. That you will go, good work. Mm-hmm. That's all he is. And he's working on it.
Right.
So I'm not saying you should have a mullet.
Right.
I'm just saying we need to cut that guy some slack.
Right.
Right. So I'd never do material on the show.
I like
That's
it.
a brand new joke. It's going to be on the new album, you guys. I'm recording in December. So enjoy that. That's it's a good joke. I'm pretty proud of that one, actually. That and I got a sleep apnea joke that's killing. It's killing you guys.
Do you have sleep apnea?
I don't have sleep apnea.
Oh,
I have.
I think I do.
Oh yeah. I have one breath and the next I am asleep. It's Jackie can fall over and be done.
We're in LA now, of course. Hemda was just telling me that, and we're staying at her brother's house, and we're sleeping in the same living room. And she says, like, sometimes you just stop breathing. For a while,
wow.
For a while, like 10 seconds or so. And I'm like, well, you're welcome. She's like, no, it's weird. I'm like, I'm not snoring. I'm
right?
quiet. I wish more people did that.
Oh, well, one of my brothers has it, and he couldn't get any real good sleep. And he said, it's not much better with a giant machine blowing air into my face. Right. But I get about 3 or 4 hours of sleep now as opposed to like 45 minutes. So.
Oh, wow. No, I sleep pretty good.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. Keith Malley, Good Clean Fun is the name of the album. And it's on iTunes and everything as well as hard copies?
Yep. Like I said, I would do a show every year. And actually, this is the only time I repeated stuff. I figured 10 years you can do something fun.
Sure.
So I took like the best of jokes, but you heard how much I was swearing during this. It's all clean.
It's all clean.
So it's still dirty in that you can watch the show on CBS and it be dirty.
Did you send it to your folks?
But I'm thinking of doing that. There's
All
no
right.
curse words, and
All right.
we'll see.
I always send my stuff to my dad so that he can have rebuttal time. And because I think everybody deserves rebuttal time.
Do you let him have it over the phone, or is like, can you just email me? Your rebuttal would be best.
No, he does. He's not on the internet.
Okay.
And he wants no part of the internet. And but Keith and the Girl is the podcast. You're doing the podcast festival this year.
Yep.
And you're probably doing New York, you said, too, as well?
Yeah,
in
everything.
January.
We do it all.
You're on board.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming on the Dork Forest.
you.
And take care of each other out there, Rangers. You know it. Well, that show was awesome. Let's do the credits. Patrick Brady, he fixes the audio every week. He also does the teaser videos on YouTube. So Patrick Brady is an awesome guy, and I thank him for his work. Mike Rickberg sang the song you heard at the beginning, composed and sang it with his girlfriend Sarah. He's going to sing in about a heartbeat for the Mexican Hat Dance. And Vilmos fixes my website, JackieCation.com. So support him and his work. Thanks a lot, you guys. Take care out there. Bye.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?